This one is going to be very uncomfortable, but I think it needs to be said directly. There is a specific pattern that happens when a man with low self-worth ends up with a woman who is genuinely confident, magnetic, she's fully expressed, and it doesn't look like what most people expect. It doesn't look like obvious insecurity. It actually looks like criticism. It's subtle, consistent, plausibly deniable criticism of the very things that make her magnetic. Maybe she's too loud or too opinionated or too much. She talks about herself too much, or she's too ambitious, too social, too sexual, too expressive, too free. And he frames all of it as reasonable feedback, as him just being honest, as him having standards, as him wanting her to be her best self. But underneath every single one of those criticisms is the same unspoken sentence. You being fully yourself makes me feel like I'm not enough. So instead of doing the inner work to meet her there, he tries to bring her down to a size where he can feel adequate next to her. And he's not doing this consciously. It's not with malicious intent, but it is a consistent pattern. And she starts to shrink. She gets quieter. She dims her light. She stops sharing the things that used to really light her up. And she learns which version of herself keeps the peace. And he might call her settling down. She calls it losing herself. And then both of them end up in a relationship with a woman who is effectively a fraction of who she was, and a man who still doesn't feel like enough, because the problem was never her size and her expression, it was his foundation. Because a man who is genuinely secure in himself doesn't need the woman next to him to be smaller. He wants her to be fully herself. He can feel inspired by her being fully herself, because her being fully herself doesn't threaten him, it interests him. And that's the difference between a man running on pressure and insecurity and a man operating from peace, power, self-worth. And that shift is not about learning techniques or reading books or forcing yourself to be less reactive. It's about addressing the wound underneath. It's conditional worth. It's the nervous system that never learned it was safe to just stand in a room as yourself without needing to be the most impressive thing in it. And that is exactly what we're working on April 21st. From pressure to power. It's a free live training, 1 hour. DM me the word power and I'll send you the registration link.